What happens when an old tank refuses to retire and instead evolves into one of the most heavily protected combat engineering vehicles ever built? Today, we uncover how the IDF's Nakpadon CEV transformed battlefield engineering, shocked military planners, and quietly reshaped modern urban warfare through armor adaptation and raw survivability. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. We are diving into a strategic overview of one of Israel's most underestimated military platforms, the IDF Nakpadon Combat Engineering Vehicle, or CEV. When people think about modern warfare, they often imagine fighter jets, drones, or main battle tanks. But wars are not won by firepower alone, they are won by movement, access, and survival. This is where combat engineering vehicles step into the spotlight. And Nakpadon represents a critical chapter in that story. Born from the hull of the British-designed Centurion tank, Nakpadon was not originally meant to dominate headlines. Instead, it was designed to survive the most dangerous moments of battle, clearing mines, opening routes, and supporting infantry under direct fire. The strategic value of Nakpadon lies not in speed or glamour, but in resilience. Israel's unique security environment, characterized by dense urban combat, ambush threats, and improvised explosive devices, demanded a machine that could take punishment while continuing to operate. Nakpadon answered that demand by converting aging tanks into heavily armored engineering vehicles. The IDF demonstrated a philosophy that values adaptation over replacement. In this video, we will explore how Nakpadon advanced military technology, influenced modern engineering doctrines, and became a silent force multiplier on the battlefield. Understanding Nakpadon is essential to understanding how modern armies think about survivability, logistics, and the hidden mechanics of victory. The origins of the Nakpadon CEV are deeply tied to Israel's strategic realities and resourcefulness. During the late Cold War and post-1973 conflict era, Israel possessed a significant number of Centurion tanks that were becoming outdated as frontline battle tanks. Instead of discarding them, Israeli military planners saw opportunity. The Centurion chassis was proven robust and capable of carrying extreme weight, ideal characteristics for a heavily armored support vehicle. This decision reflects a broader Israeli defense philosophy: maximize existing assets while tailoring them to new threats. As asymmetric warfare grew more prominent, the battlefield shifted from open deserts to narrow streets, refugee camps, and fortified urban zones. Traditional tanks struggled in these environments, particularly against mines and close-range anti-armor weapons. Nakpadon emerged as a response to these challenges. By stripping the turret and reinforcing the hull with layered armor, engineers transformed the Centurion into a platform optimized for survival rather than offense. This evolution was not accidental. It was a calculated response to operational lessons learned in Lebanon and other conflict zones. Nakpadon was designed to operate where danger is highest and visibility is lowest. Its development marks a turning point where engineering vehicles were no longer considered secondary assets, but central components of maneuver warfare. Strategically, this shift redefined how the IDF approached battlefield preparation and troop protection. One of the most significant technological advancements of the Nakpadon CEV lies in its armor philosophy. Unlike traditional combat vehicles that balance firepower, mobility, and protection, Nakpadon prioritizes survivability above all else. The vehicle earned its name, which loosely translates to porcupine, due to its heavily layered and protruding armor packages. These were specifically designed to defeat rocket-propelled grenades, small arms fire, and battlefield shrapnel. This approach reflected a hard-earned lesson. Engineering crews often operate under sustained enemy observation and fire, making them prime targets. Nakpadon's armor allowed crews to continue working even in environments saturated with threats. The integration of reactive and passive armor elements showcased Israel's expertise in vehicle protection systems. Additionally, the vehicle's internal layout was optimized to reduce crew casualties in the event of a blast. This focus on human survivability is a hallmark of Israeli military technology. Nakpadon demonstrated that protecting soldiers is not only a moral priority, but a strategic one. A vehicle that survives longer completes more missions, supports more troops, and sustains operational momentum. In this sense, Nakpadon advanced military technology by shifting design priorities from pure lethality to endurance and mission continuity under fire. From a strategic standpoint, Nakpadon's role in urban warfare cannot be overstated. Urban environments neutralize many advantages of conventional armored units. Narrow streets, concealed firing positions, and civilian infrastructure complicate maneuver and increase vulnerability. Nakpadon was specifically adapted to operate in these conditions. Equipped with engineering tools such as mine-clearing devices, dozer blades, and obstacle removal systems, it enabled Israeli forces to reshape the battlefield in real time. This capability transformed how the IDF conducted urban operations. Instead of avoiding heavily fortified areas, forces could systematically breach, clear, and secure them. Nakpadon acted as a moving shield, allowing infantry and other units to advance safely. Strategically, this reduced casualties and increased operational confidence. The psychological impact on both friendly forces and adversaries was significant. For troops, Nakpadon represented safety and support. For opponents, it symbolized inevitability, the knowledge that obstacles would not stop the advance. This shift illustrates how engineering vehicles influence not just physical terrain, but also morale and decision-making. By integrating Nakpadon into combined arms operations, the IDF demonstrated a sophisticated understanding of modern warfare dynamics, where engineering, protection, and maneuver are inseparable. Nakpadon's technological value also lies in its adaptability. Over time, the platform received upgrades that reflected evolving threats. As improvised explosive devices became more common, additional armor reinforcement and blast mitigation measures were introduced. Communication systems were improved to ensure coordination with infantry armor and command units. This modular upgrade approach allowed Nakpadon to remain relevant long after its original design period. Strategically, this adaptability reduced the need for entirely new platforms, saving resources while maintaining operational effectiveness. It also allowed the IDF to rapidly respond to emerging threats without long development cycles. Nakpadon became a testbed for protection concepts later applied to newer vehicles, such as Puma and Namur-based engineering platforms. This evolutionary path highlights an important advancement in military technology. Platforms are no longer static. They are living systems that evolve alongside threats. Nakpadon exemplifies how incremental innovation can produce long-term strategic advantages. Rather than chasing revolutionary designs, the IDF focused on continuous improvement grounded in battlefield experience. This approach ensured that Nakpadon remained a reliable asset across multiple decades of conflict. Another critical aspect of Nakpadon's strategic impact is its contribution to force preservation. Modern militaries increasingly recognize that sustaining personnel and equipment is as important as achieving tactical victories. Nakpadon supports this concept by reducing exposure to high-risk tasks such as mine clearance and obstacle removal. Traditionally, these tasks required engineers to work dismounted, exposing them to enemy fire. By mechanizing these functions within a heavily armored vehicle, Nakpadon drastically lowered casualty rates. This advancement in military technology reflects a broader shift toward risk reduction and automation. Strategically, fewer casualties mean sustained political and public support for military operations. It also preserves experienced personnel whose expertise is difficult to replace. Nakpadon's presence on the battlefield allows commanders to plan more assertively, knowing that critical engineering support can operate under fire. This confidence translates into operational tempo and flexibility. In modern warfare, where conflicts are often prolonged and politically sensitive, such advantages are invaluable. Nakpadon thus contributes not only to tactical success, but also to strategic endurance. Nakpadon also highlights the importance of logistics and battlefield preparation in military strategy. Before tanks advance or infantry moves in, routes must be secured, obstacles cleared, and threats neutralized. Nakpadon operates in this crucial pre-combat phase, often unseen by the public, but essential to mission success. Its ability to operate close to the front line blurs the traditional distinction between combat and support units. This reflects a modern understanding of warfare, where every element must be capable of operating under threat. Technologically, Nakpadon integrates protection, engineering tools, and mobility into a single platform. Strategically, this reduces dependency on multiple specialized vehicles, simplifying logistics and command structures. Fewer vehicles mean fewer vulnerabilities and more efficient coordination. Nakpadon's design philosophy influenced how modern armies think about multi-role platforms, particularly in high-threat environments. It demonstrates that support vehicles must be as survivable as frontline combat systems. This lesson has been widely adopted in contemporary military planning. When compared to later platforms like Puma and Namor-based engineering vehicles, Nakpadon stands out as a foundational step rather than an endpoint. It bridged the gap between legacy armored vehicles and modern protected engineering systems. Strategically, Nakpadon allowed the IDF to experiment with concepts that would later be refined in newer designs. Its limitations, such as weight and mobility constraints, provided valuable data for future development. This iterative process is a hallmark of effective military innovation. Instead of discarding older systems outright, the IDF extracted maximum value from them while preparing for next-generation solutions. Nakpadon's service history illustrates how transitional platforms play a vital role in technological evolution. They absorb risk, test ideas, and inform long-term strategy. In this sense, Nakpadon's contribution extends beyond its operational lifespan. It shaped the design principles and operational doctrines that define Israel's modern combat engineering capabilities. From a global perspective, Nakpadon represents a case study in how smaller nations can achieve technological superiority through innovation and adaptation rather than sheer numbers. Israel's defense industry leveraged real-world combat experience to refine Nakpadon continuously. This feedback loop between battlefield and factory accelerated technological advancement. Strategically, this approach allowed the IDF to stay ahead of evolving threats despite limited resources. Nakpadon's success reinforced the importance of domestic defense development tailored to specific operational needs. It also demonstrated that engineering vehicles are not auxiliary assets, but central components of combat power. Modern militaries worldwide have adopted similar philosophies, investing heavily in protected mobility and engineering capabilities. Nakpadon's legacy can thus be seen in contemporary armored engineering vehicles across the globe. Its influence extends beyond Israel, contributing to a broader shift in how military technology prioritizes survivability, adaptability, and integrated support. In conclusion, the strategic overview of the IDF Nakpadon CEV reveals a vehicle that embodies advancements in military technology through protection, adaptability, and operational integration. Nakpadon was never about spectacle, it was about solving real battlefield problems. By transforming an aging tank into a heavily armored engineering platform, the IDF demonstrated a forward-thinking approach to warfare. Nakpadon advanced the idea that winning battles depends on preparation, protection, and persistence as much as firepower. Its design philosophy influenced future platforms and reshaped engineering doctrines within the Israeli military. More importantly, it saved lives by allowing critical tasks to be performed under armor rather than exposure. Nakpadon's story reminds us that technological progress in warfare is often quiet, incremental, and driven by necessity. While it may not dominate headlines, its impact is deeply embedded in modern military operations. Understanding Nakpadon helps us appreciate the unseen systems that enable success on today's complex battlefields. If you found this deep dive into the IDF Nakpadon CEV insightful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our in-depth analyses of military technology and modern warfare. Share this video with fellow defense enthusiasts, and let us know in the comments which military platform you want us to cover next.